What's up, Rowan? Reviewing your clip here because I'm on a laptop. When my GPU isn't being used, I can't use Shadowplay to record like I normally would on a desktop. So, fun fact, I'm actually currently recording this with Zoom. So that should be funny. But anyway, hopefully the audio is being picked up here and everything's okay. Yeah, we're going to jump into this. I just skipped about a minute and a quarter into it. But yeah. So this is the first part of the recording that I want to bring to your attention. Maybe this is a personal preference, but in my opinion, a good rule of thumb to follow is only shoot at what you can kill. And this guy seems to me like he's an inexperienced player or whatever, and you end up snagging this kill if I'm correct. But in my opinion, what I would have liked to have done is they clearly don't see you. What I would have done is I would have advanced up to the right side of this tree, and I would have tried to catch them as they're going into lobby one here, is probably what I would have done personally. I wouldn't have wasted the ammunition. Now, you're running a Gauss saw, so you've got a big mag, and you're doing 200 damage. Well, realistically, at this range, it's going to be 167, but, you're still hitting like a ton of bricks at this range. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe this is personal preference, but I would have personally closed this distance, because if these two guys were better players, you probably wouldn't have landed this kill, and it would have been better for you to close the distance and take the engagement closer up, where you could kind of catch them out for longer. Like that dude should have just immediately broke his engagement instead of trying to shoot at you. At that point in the video there, you're doing pretty good bursting and you're being pretty conscious of your cover there, always keeping the tree, right? I would have aimed down sights for that guy. That's an infiltrator. You're running a Gauss saw at this range, like 2 headshots would have killed him, So I know you're just kind of like hip firing here, and that's totally fine, but I would have personally liked to see some more ADS just to get in the habit of that, like ultra CQC, like CQC ADSing can be really tough when your enemies are kind of far away from you. It's more effective to ADS, right? But it gets tricky when you're up close, but it can be really rewarding. Yeah. There, instead of trying to take this engagement here, I would have personally liked to, try to see you shuffle away, maybe try to pop off a health kit or something, maybe even a little communication to Spartan, like, hey, I'm taking contact from up the stairs, I'm taking contact from the northwest, or, whatever is what I would have liked to have seen there. But yeah, that's okay. Keep watching here.
I can't see shit, dude. It's so dark.
Yeah, I just noticed that. I was like, man, I can't actually. I'm just literally playing off the map. This pilot's pretty nasty, though. I saw that video that was just posted in Discord. Saw the guy finishing people with the pilot. I'm like, holy crap. It's hard to remember that it hits 200,
This is good here. Those guys weren't looking, so you didn't get punished here. But a good habit to get into is you kind of see how you're overexposing yourself in this doorway. Right now, obviously, these guys weren't paying attention. They're tunnel visioned outside lobby 2 or dub 2, excuse me. So you're obviously able to get away with kind of sweeping the room while fully standing in the doorway. But if you're just a few steps out here, that way these two guys couldn't even see you, and you kind of slice the pie here. That would have been optimal in this situation. But still, this isn't bad. Like I said, these guys seem to be unorganized puppies, so you're not going to be punished for something like this. Like, I'd probably do the same thing. But just to get in the habit, I would definitely recommend slicing the pie when you're coming through a doorway like this. Like, you came through all at once, Like, you could have just as easily have engaged this dude from main hall and then kind of gradually stepped in, picked off this guy, and then maybe dumped a rocket into the back of the max or whatever you decide to do. Good aiming there. Really good aiming. Good use of cover. Friendlies lasering you in the back. That's not good. So you die there because of friendly fire.
Can I get a resume? You suck.
Behind us. Yeah, behind us. I have to reload. Sorry.
Yeah.
Could have had a little bit of headshots there, but that's okay.
Yeah, conk down. Ready?
Good conk. Great conk there.
I conked myself?
But you conked yourself. I don't know. That looked like it went down the main hall, so I don't know. That looked like it went down the long stairs. That was the right idea.
Oh, they're dying now. Oh, they're dying to TR. Might go medic.
Yeah, I'm just fucking playing medic, although, like, I basically have a maxed out meta tool, and that's it.
Nice. It's the only thing you need to.
Good here. Again, aiming could be a little bit better, but you know, it's the Gauss saw, right? Like it rewards really accurate aim, and it's going to punish you if you're not landing on those headshots. Some good squad synergy here. I like it. You guys are all moving together as a unit. That's what we need to see. Get this guy in the outfit. That's Julian Mason. Get him in here. Good shooting. Good breach. You guys are all, this is what I like to see. Everybody's kind of pushing up the stairs at the same time and kind of gradually going and killing as they go, only head peeking up over this, you know, second portion of the long stairs here. That's what we need to do. We can't just run up into their guns, right? Like as soon as you establish contact with the enemy, you start engaging.
Something I realized is we're plugging up ammunition.
You hang around the window there. Okay, that was a little bit of sloppy movement. We'll go back to that. You know, I mean, you could tell you kind of got caught up there in the windowsill, you know, or the boxes kind of caught you there. Yeah, but you know, you play that off quite well. But you know, work on movement. So you were taking fire there, right? You were taking fire there from the left. You knew that there's an enemy there. He's even popping up on your mini map. There's not really too much of a pressing need to go back to point here. So I would have liked to have seen you maybe stop and assess the situation and try to engage this enemy before you tried to cross the open ground. You know, you end up wasting 2 health sticks on what probably is not a great player because he wasn't able to kill you. You know, like if this was a good player, you would have been punished here, you would have died. So instead of crossing the open ground, I would personally have recommended that you engage him, right? Plus you notice that the enemies have recon here, right? That there's a sensor dart. So you're up on this guy's scopes for sure. So he's going to be able to see you. So that would definitely be optimal is, you know, this guy's going to be breathing down your neck no matter what because of the recon. So you probably should have engaged him here. I would have not have made the choice here. I think that if you weren't a heavy, you probably would have been punished here.
Go back to bus. Yeah, they're locked down on that point pretty hard. They're 33% up.
Probably could have had a little bit better tracking there. Maybe came around the corner sequentially, you know, slice the pie again. Like if you notice, there's this wall here at the top of the stairs. What I would have liked you to have done is maybe stopped here, started to engage enemies. Like you're overexposed. You see how you come around the wall? That makes any sense? In my opinion, you could have engaged these guys while standing on the top of those stairs. So by coming out and putting your back up against this wall, you effectively limit your ability to run to cover and reassess the engagement.
Pretty hard. They're 33% up.
Kind of funny that we're going up against, there's a CIK squad going up against a recursion squad of
Space is always defended to get second point.
CIK. Yeah, it's kind of funny. Role reversal right here.
That way we can drop straight to point.
I'm honestly so confused about how I got a bounty with like 3 kills. So there must have been because the last time I played NC, I got a bunch of kills.
Yeah. Wow. Scoreboard just like 5 guys cap the whole base.
Seriously.
Alright, I've got you.
Lazarus was using a fucking SMG use.
I mean, Cam.
Dude, that's fucking. Oh, I just killed him. Dude, he has like 16,000 kills on his Busher. It's honestly insane.
That's dedication. Hey, dude, some dude ambushed me with a pump and I had 500 health.
Oh my god, I just got killed by Jared.
Yes.
Why isn't Jared with you guys? What the heck?
Trying to get inside there with the death trap.
Yeah, I can't see shit right now.
Yeah, this isn't the greatest engagement, I'll be honest with you guys. Being able, like, just for submitting clips like this, I I would definitely recommend submitting clips from a small fight. In big fights like this, things are too unpredictable, right? Like NC here is clearly shitting the bed. They're all playing really stupid. So you kind of doing what the masses are doing is going to kind of limit our ability to critique your play. You know, like I personally would have redeployed here. You know, squad play could definitely be better. You guys aren't really moving as a unit or really communicating with each other. You guys are just kind of like, you know, trickling in and fragging solo, which is fine for the context of this squad. I understand that this isn't like a sweaty squad. You guys are just kind of casually shooting. So I'm not going to critique that, but definitely could be a little bit better synergy, at least for what I'm seeing in the past few minutes. You guys are kind of going in and dying one by one.
Oh god, Jared just got behind us. Oh wow, water is behind us.
Dude, what is with all the people running a chain gun with
Seriously?
Sidewinder? It's good. Yeah, like I noticed a lot of people started using Sidewinder recently.
Yeah,
SMG with Sidewinder.
like that okay, that hipfire there was okay, but probably would have preferred you to ADS with the Gossa. Again, it's spray is so wide.
That grade is just so unexpected. Like,
Good aiming for heads
you don't
there,
expect
really
them to
good.
be like that you miss a whole bunch, and then they barely beat you. Salty
What the fuck is that OS?
That was okay. Again, I probably wouldn't have stood in the doorway. Like you could have engaged that guy from right here. See what I'm saying? I wouldn't have gone and stood in the doorway. You got lucky. There was only this one dude here, so you got away with it. But yeah, like one thing that I notice is a lot of times, like against, I don't know, I'm going to use recursion as an example here, just because, you know, that's kind of, I guess the cliche example to use. Like a lot of times, a lot of our players can beat the average recursion player in a 1v1, if that makes any sense. But what makes recursion so deadly is the fact that there's an equally good player right next to him who's lasering your head, you know, just as well as he, the original person that you're engaging, is lasering your head. So when we're taking engagements in a competitive manner, we need to work to make the engagement as unfair as possible, or to even the playing field, right? Like chances are, if this wasn't a T2, T7 guy, but if this was a recursion guy, there'd probably be 2 or 3 of them operating right next to each other. This guy would say, you know, pressure lobby, you know, pressure, whatever, main hall connector, whatever the call out is for them. And then you'd probably have 1 or 2 guys up your ass hitting your head, you know? So we need to be thinking about, as soon as you establish a line of contact with somebody, you should be looking to take that engagement, you know? Like if you look here, you know how easy it is for you to take cover. You just literally need to hold your D key for a millisecond and you'll be in cover, you know, versus what you do is you come into the room. That's not what I would have done personally, but you do a good job of maintaining the distance here between this cover. Obviously, if you're right up against this cover, this dude, like, it would have negated the effectiveness of the cover. So you do make the right call here by kind of hugging the back wall and being able to use those crates as opposed to running up to those crates, for sure. Yeah, probably could have been a little better tracking there, but it's not a big deal. The Gauss saw, it's really apparent, like aiming deficiencies when you're using a Gauss saw, because obviously the rate of fire is so slow. You know, it really punishes you when you don't land those headshots. You know, obviously if you're running like an MSWR or a Carve or whatever it is, an Orion, it's got a much higher rate of fire, and you're not going to really notice, you know, as much as you would with the Gauss saw. Amazing the NC took like 5 minutes to push on to this point.
What's there?
Jesus, so many recursion chain guns are running around.
Yeah, because they have that secondary chain.
See if we can break this down.
What's there?
Jesus, so many recursion chain guns are running around.
So instead of standing on this staircase here, because if you look at this, like, where do you have to go? You know, I wouldn't have stood on this staircase here, but rather I would have stood maybe on this platform, or there's another staircase down here that's kind of leading down. I would have stood on that staircase and tried to head peek this instead of standing on this forward face of this staircase. By standing here, really presentable target. You know, you're honestly even almost as an enticing target as Julian Mason here.
Yeah, that secondary chain.
You know, and he gets dunked and you get dunked, right? When you're going up against good players, they can aim for heads, you know. Again, it's all about making the engagement as unfair as possible.
A lot of red dots on it.
Luckily, you've got a good medic. You don't really get punished for it too hard.
That's our turn. Fuck.
Good wall jump. Smart move there.
Almost firing quick.
You use to cover. I like that. Good crouch spamming.
We're gonna have a max of 42.
That was okay. And then again, there I wouldn't have elected for the hip fire. I would have stuck with ADS. Yeah, you know, if you can't ADS at that range, maybe I would recommend pulling up your aim mouse sensitivity a few clicks.
Coming, bro.
Okay, so I guess we can break that down there a little bit. Like, so you go, you start the engagement. Well, he starts the engagement technically, so you're already at disadvantage. You didn't really pop your shields up, so he's got most of your shields up as well as your auxiliary shields already taking some heat. You're already starting to lose HP. At this point, personally, I guess this is personal preference. I would have broken off this engagement immediately and let it go re-engage. You know, obviously you decided to stick it out. And because I believe he was a medic, if I see correctly on this little laptop screen, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think that's a heavy assault. Yeah. So because he wasn't playing heavy assault, you didn't really get punished there. Obviously, if he was playing heavy, he would have had that extra durability and he would have beat you there in that 1v1. So I just want to point out, like at this point, you know where he's going to pop back up, you know. Yeah. So I don't know.
Coming, bro.
Maybe could have anticipated that a little bit better. And yeah, he was playing combat
Three guys
medic.
are trying to get him quick.
You know, he does have the height advantage on you there, though. It's not a big deal. He got picked up by a friendly medic.
Oh god, you're killing me again.
Oh, jeez.
Need a revive downstairs.
Good call out for the revive. Those guys should have called out for the revive. Again, I don't understand why this isn't like commonplace. We need to be calling out for revives. Like it needs to be medic down, you know.
Yeah, some dude got a
Good call out.
jockey,
Like this needs to be happening. It's literally the outfit's name. Communication is key. Like when you go down, you need to call it out. Like somebody else shouldn't call out that you die. That's ridiculous. But I guess it's a casual squad, so let it slide. I don't know what the fuck is up with this fake Fiji tag. That's kind of cringy, by the way. Okay, so there was a lot of friendlies here, and these guys were pretty chaotic, so you didn't really get punished for this. But again, there's like this common trend that I'm noticing. Oh, I don't know why it didn't pause there. Give me a second. And there's this common trend that I'm noticing in your gameplay where you're peeking all the way around the corner. Like you could be hugging these boxes better. You could have picked this guy out and then transitioned to this guy and sliced the pie, picked this guy first, and then, you know, came around more and picked out this guy. Now, obviously these dudes had their thumbs in their asses. They were dealing with a bunch of other blueberries, so it didn't ultimately punish you. But again, like you ran all the way out around this corner before you even picked up your gun and started to aim down your sights. Like, in my opinion, you could have definitely narrowed that gap there more. And remember, the closer that you take cover, the less time it's going to take for you to run back into cover and re-engage. Like if you notice a lot of the gameplay that these people that we're going up against, when they post it, like, yeah, they can laser heads reasonably well, but that's just the cherry on top. You know, what really makes and separates a great player, like let's say hypothetically, you can only aim for center mass. Like that's just how you are as a player. You only shoot center mass, you know. Let's say hypothetically that's true. A lot of these players that post gameplay like Zonic or Therum or whoever, you know, they're still going to be very good players because they understand engagements. They understand how to use cover to its maximum potential. You know, their mental calculator is always running. Can I win this engagement? Can I beat this guy in a 1v1? Can I win this? You know, managing my health, managing my whatever, you know. They always are subconsciously managing their assets and everything, right? So their mental calculator from playing Planetside for years and years is, you know, it's pretty well refined. They've got it down to a science, you know? So let's say hypothetically Zonic couldn't even hit headshots he'd probably still have a lot of nasty kill streaks and pull off a lot of nasty shit if he was just aiming for center mass like a blueberry, because he understands how to position himself. He understands how to use cover. You know, like, yeah, I understand that FPS is important, but you know, like, let's say I know you're running the game fine, but a big excuse that I get at a lot of people is that, you know, I can't run the game too well at big fights. You know, you can still reasonably position yourself even if you're running the game like at like 35-40 FPS in a big fight. You know, obviously you won't be doing as well as if you're running the game really smooth at 60 to 100 FPS. You know, but survivability is key in a situation like this. You know, I want to point out that the rest of your squad is up there. They could be playing with you. If I wanted to critique the squad play in this video, it would be a whole other thing. Yeah.
Fucking Jared is chain gun, dude. He needs fucking racks that shit already.
Yeah, Jared has been running the chain gun. And he's going to be nasty once he switches back to a proper LMG.
I'm at the last sticks.
Good call.
Got lots of access.
Getting heals.
Fuck, behind you.
Again, personal preference here, but you come out, you poke the right side of this catwalk here, which is fine. You notice that you're getting shot from behind. Okay. Now this dude's an idiot because he's opening his engagement with a rocket rifle, which doesn't make any sense. But let's say hypothetically that this is like an idiot or like one of the best light assault players in the game, right? First of all, he would have opened this engagement with his carbine and he would have already landed a few headshots. Okay. So exactly what I wouldn't have done here is I wouldn't have turned around and begun to engage this, right? Now, I understand your reasoning. Like, you literally lost barely any shields and this is a light assault that just shot rockets at you. So like, you're probably like, what the fuck? Like, this is a noob free dinner, you know, like this is meat on the table right now. And I totally understand that. But just playing the game of hypotheticals here, let's say that this was one of the best players on Connery as light assault, right? If you turn around and you try to pick this engagement up after he's already dumped a bunch of rounds into you, if you're not dead already, you will be dead now. What I would have done into this situation is I would have immediately ran to this wall here on your left. I would have taken cover, sticked up if I needed to, maybe called for help, called for a pocket medic, and then I would have poked out and double peeked that with a friendly. You know, I would say, let's poke this, let's poke this. That's what I would have done in this situation.
Fuck, behind you.
Or I don't want to say that's what I would have done. You know, I don't know how I would have reacted in this situation, to be honest with you. I like to think that that's how I would have reacted, but I'll amend my statement. I'll say that, like, you know, what I would have recommended personally is I would have taken cover behind that wall. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to draw a direct comparison. Obviously, nobody's perfect, including myself. And it's really easy for me to sit here and critique a video in my pajamas, you know. Yeah. Tough engagement angle here.
One more.
You do okay though. Again, really exploiting the alpha damage of the Goth Saw.
Another one behind the boxes on dubs.
I would have went for a reload here personally. You definitely could have managed that. Yeah.
Down.
Fighting around. Lots coming dubs.
Also, you went for a full reload there. Really good engagement. I'm just gonna highlight that. Like, earlier in this video, you were hip firing in engagements like this. Okay. But this is what you need to do. You need to be aiming down sights and aiming your heads, bang, 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 dead. You know, like you use like maybe, I don't know how many bullets, like 2 or 3 to kill that guy, you know, 3 or 4.
Over.
So really good. Okay. And now I can stop my Zoom recording.